Shadow the new Praetorian. The clip being analyzed today is the intellectual property of Steven Crowder, and the Ogre would sincerely like to thank him for all his hard work. The Ogre has also asked me to tell you that whether you like Steven or not, we have to respect what he's doing and also defend the Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. So without further ado, here comes the Laughing Ogre!
This is home for my mother.
It's so good to be back, YouTube. I am Jack's love of a diversity of ideas, no matter where that diversity originates. Hey, I guess I forgot a little something here. Let me get my plugs the way I usually do it. And while I do that, we're going to go ahead and cut that off and pop Golly Music up. As I always say, if you get a chance, swing by Golly Music. Check him out. Everything he has is free. We're going to be listening to a song today called Conspiracy. What a great tune. He always seems to stick in a couple of topics, no matter what the song is. See if you can pick those out. So we were talking yesterday, and I was honored by the presence of Falcon Millennial, MCJK, Mr. Tigerson, Matt the Brit. We had on the incomparable Cabbage Patch Bastard, and we had on the very knowledgeable and very even-keeled MCJK. It was an honor to have all these people. That's what sparked me to want to do this piece today. A diversity of ideas, people, is one of the most important things that we'll ever have in our lives. In a book that I read that's full of wisdom, it says, wisdom comes from a multitude of counselors. That doesn't mean that one of those counselors has more wisdom than the other, you should pick one. It means that if you hear all sides of the story, you'll be able to read between the lines and figure out what that story's really about. And isn't that what we want, folks? Don't we want to find out what it's all about? And the answer is not 42. So let's take a look at this. Here's some insanity from probably the second biggest reason I'm doing this. And let me just say it to make it fair. I am doing this because of Gavin McGinnis, first and foremost. Steven Crowder, secondarily. And then two people equally make up the other 50% of why I'm doing that, and that is TheBritisher and the hard bastard. Because I thought to myself, if this guy across the pond and this fella that's somewhere probably here in the States can do it, surely I can do it. I'm not saying I'm better or worse than them, I'm just saying surely I can do it. So I'm going to set this song on repeat so I don't forget like I do sometimes, and let's take a look. Take it away, Mr. Crowder.
And by the way, it was built by our audience. We asked them when we switch over from TV to online, can you guys help us build this? And our audience gave us $425,000 to build it.
What's this bullshit? What's going on here? I thought we were going to have a reasonable discussion. That's not the real Cenk. That's bullshit. I'm the real Cenk over here. This is supposed to happen. The JW Marriott.
Okay, this is Steven
This
Crowder.
guy, this is the real Cenk.
He actually introduced him, but I'm going to make some points here in a second. I'm going to let this play for a second longer, but he actually introduced him. This is Steven Crowder. Now listen to what he says. And by the way, I just looked just a second ago at the live stream for the Young Turks, which was going on right now. They had 200. The Hard Bastard, the Britisher, Day is Dead, Bass Mama, and myself had 330 people watching us at one point, and we're just a bunch of nobodies. So and I watch. Oh, the point is that Steven Crowder, I've watched him with my wife, and we have seen 35, 40,000 people watching his show. You know, the once a week show that you don't have to pay for. I'm not gonna bump him any more than that. So let me continue this, or it'll be 2 hours long.
You think you're making genocide happen? It's bullshit. What are you doing? You guys at the panel.
Okay, so this is
Okay.
This is not a friend of mine.
What he does, okay?
This is what he does.
He's doing an impression, and you know that's bullshit. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, right?
He basically
what he does,
makes
right?
money.
Is he makes money
by
by he lies, right?
writing
He's he rock, boy, right my dick. So I do this homophobic stuff too, right? And I go, and then I go, like, you're a homophobe.
security should remove him.
Oh, goes to security.
But by the
Look,
way,
I gotta stop it right here and
straight
just say, listen, y'all heard that. When it come to Alex Jones coming there, I didn't hear no call of security. But he had his minions there. He had Anna Kasparian there. Oh, you get off the stage, you fat, you know what? And we, everybody screaming. You had the not I did a roller, but you had Jimmy Dorn was there, and you had that other guy. I don't even know who the heck he was. Who was sitting there looking all nervous. And they were all there, like, and backing him up. I don't see any Young Turks here today, so he's all on his own. What's he do? To quote Bullet Tooth Tony, it has precipitated his you-know-whats into shrinking. And he has shrunk down into what he really is, because he maybe looked at Alex Jones and thought to himself, oh, he's getting a little pudgy around the edges, and yeah, he's a big bulldog, but maybe I could take him. I'm going to manhandle him. By the way, I think that was probably mostly staged. But when he looks at Mr. Crowder here, who I do believe holds a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, is a Greco-Roman wrestler, is a grappler. He says he's never been in a fight, folks, but that's because he's very humble. He's never been in a street fight. He's been in many, 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 many fights on the mat, and he knows what he's doing. So bear that in mind. Cenk, he's a big tough guy when he's got the crew there, and they're backing him up, and they're saying, yeah, go ahead and do this, get it done, and we got your back. But when he's all by himself, he calls for security like a coward.
Live streams. He makes a living by trying to copy me.
I know, right?
And get the right-wing critics.
And
to be like, hey, look, I'm
I'm not going to stop this every time, but he makes a living by trying to copy you? Dude, he has mocked Fidel in Hell. I got a video somewhere here on my channel, if you care to find it, where he is pretending to be Adolf Hitler. The guy is an equal opportunity mocker. Long before he was, all this and doing his mug club and everything else, he was out there in his underwear in Ann Arbor, Michigan, mocking a group of these people that had, I can't even say. I'll put a link to that particular video in here. This was long before he ever decided to turn his comedic genius on this fool right here. So continue, boys.
Will you please watch me? He's so big that I'm just going to hide on.
I know, right, listen, there was a time, live stream was getting divided. It's like cable, right? It's like there's lower numbers and...
Hey, maybe you should try to get your own show or your own panel?
I know, right? This guy is riding my dick! It's bullshit! It's bullshit! He goes around my dick. We're trying a reasonable discussion. And what he does...
You're also taking up their time, Steve.
What he does...
Give it a shot. You can't shout Crowder down.
Proof or evidence. Okay.
Let's get out of here. This is getting all right.
That's cool. Listen, you'll get your turn. Okay, don't stop crowding my act. I'm just saying, this guy.
You mean it's getting more awkward than when Jimmy Dorn came out and spit in Alex Jones's face? And I love you, Jimmy. I love you. I was just telling my wife, you're the only thing about the Young Turks that I really give two shits about.
Right? Okay. Come on. Hey, he's a real tank. That's bullshit. You know it's bullshit. Come on.
You know what that is, Steve? That's the sound of silence, man.
It was silent long before he got there, and look at this massive crowd. Let me just make a prediction. Even at South by Southwest, if Steven Crowder was to show up, this room would be packed. There'd be no place to sit. I got to give a little credit to Millennial, Falcon Millennial, and hey, listen, brother, you have your own opinions on this, and I very much respect them. I'm going to say that, let me let this play for a second, and then I'll give you my last final word on this.
I know, right? We're supposed to look like a friendly audience. I'm used to this all the time.
You're dying out here, man.
I know.
It's not dying. We're laughing. We're shanking.
You gotta get off stage, man. Get off stage.
Look, it's so funny. That guy gets off stage, and watch what happens.
No, don't do this.
No, bro.
I know. So here's what happened. Alex Jones invaded our set kind of like this at the RNC. So now
No. That was planned and staged. Let's just see.
Like all the audience is invading our set.
Trying to compare Alex Jones and Steven Crowder is like comparing a Ferrari with a doggone Toyota.
Came on our show, and it's bullshit, okay? It's not, and by the way, when I say bullshit, it's like we're like, it's real talk. This is like, we're uncensored.
Real talk.
Okay.
What's this guy's real name?
Steven Crowder. But
I'm Cenk.
that's exactly what he wanted. That's exactly what he wanted. That's why Alex Jones came on.
I know.
And said,
That's the thing.
show's
It's like
small.
the right wing
So
guy. Like, come on,
he wants to come on a larger show.
Staying in character the whole
I'm
time.
not going to debate anybody.
The whole time, unreal.
I'll never debate.
All right, if I let this play the whole time, I think I'm going to try to find where the security actually does come.
It's cute, right? I know.
Yeah, look. And look, when the security gets there, he just happily gets down. He acts like it's a big deal because he's trying to be. He's Cenk Uygur, fat.
It's cute, right? I know. It's okay. Like that's what they. It's okay.
All right, so that's your cottage industry of our haters.
Oh man, cottage industry. Listen, all right, I'm gonna stop that right now. I'm gonna go back to full screen of me because I gotta say this. Listen, folks, when Mattis comes out and says someone should get 2 years for burning the flag, I've never burned an American flag in my life. But I just told my wife today, if they make a law that says you cannot burn the American flag, it will go up in flames. Why? Because, hey, look, if you don't like his brand of comedy, then go somewhere else. But to find a comedian that can provoke thought, that can bring you an excellent amount of information, that has the ability to entertain you if you like his kind of entertainment. He sure does entertain me, entertains my wife. He had us in stitches over this stuff, and we watch pretty often. Since the Mug Club thing, I've kind of fell off because he lied and said he... Look, I'm not going to get off in the weeds, because I have my own problems with Steven Crowder, but I have my own problems with everybody. None of them compare with the problems that I have with Cenk Uygur. Cenk Uygur. I think it's said at the beginning of this. So listen, folks. Instead of trying to tell somebody else what's funny or what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do, remember, this coward, he hid behind all of his folks at the RNC. He was there being egged on with the, you get off the stage, you fat, you know what? And there was people here, you get off the stage, but this is no Alex Jones. This is a straight up intelligent comedian that has been at this game a long time, Cenk. While you were still at the olive farm, Mr. Crowder was one of the voices on a show called Arthur. And he has been a comedian and in the public eye and someone that has worked in media since he was just a boy. And to him, you are a joke. You are the butt of the joke, Mr. Uygur, and you always will be. You can try all you want, but if it comes down to a popularity contest, the Young Turks, your 2,500,000 subscribers, I've unfortunately found out that a lot of them are subbed because they hate your guts. I was just looking through the likes and dislikes on your videos. The ratios are phenomenal. Everybody hates you. Only crazy libtards, not classical liberals. Like I'm not going to even name any names right now, but not classical liberals. Classical libtards. You are hemorrhaging views. You're hemorrhaging likes. You are losing your base. No one likes you. No one agrees with you. The very few that do are bat nuts. They're barking mad. They're crazy as a brush. And that said, listen, folks, be good to your friends. Be good to your family members. Be good to your loved ones. Be quick to say you're sorry. Be even quicker to accept an apology, especially when that thing that your friend, your family member, your loved one has done seems to be so huge, you'll never be able to forget about it. Because fellow Americans, citizens of the world, at a time you think not, your friends, your family members, your loved ones, and your cause, Cenk Uygur, will depart from you. Hey, listen, Sydney Runtime, man, I want my eyeball off. Let me tell you something, man. That little thing I did, that trick I pulled on the doggone live stream kind of backfired on me, brother. I know, plausible deniability, and I shouldn't have been it, but the fact of the matter is people... Well, I should have quit you, baby. Should have quit you a long, long time ago. I should have quit you, mama. Oh, such a long, long time ago. I never would have found myself here in this predicament, down on this killing floor. Why so cruel? I should listen, mama. second bite. I should have took my little darling, made it to my second bite.